Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So I wanted to make this video to answer several questions from some viewers, and those being, what are the most common items I find on scrap day, and what items do I never pass up on while scrapping? So I want to answer those questions today. As you can see, I have a nice big pile of items, and I do have separate complete breakdown videos for each of these. So I will include those in the description. So if you're interested, go check those out. So I'm going to start first. Two of the most common items that I find are my CRT TVs, as well as computer monitors, the old style like this, and microwaves. Both of these excellent items. The CRT TVs always have a very nice yoke inside of them. These have copper. They're always going to be copper. That is going to be number 2 copper. And that right now is going for about $4.40 a pound. You do have to break it off of that. As well, it does always have a degaussing cable around the tube. They are sometimes aluminum. You do want to make sure that you cut those, open them to see what's inside. If it reveals a metallic look on inside, then it's aluminum. But a lot of times you will find, especially the small ones, and always the computer monitors, you will always find the degaussing cable that is copper. So you do have to check, but this is heavy. This is actually 7 ounces. This is peeled. I did have to remove the black tape that goes around it. Very simple to do. I just use a knife, but some really nice number 2 copper. And anything that has copper, copper continues in our scrappers world to be that scrapper's gold. So that is the first thing. As well, the rest of this TV, once I've removed the old circuit board and that, I can still bring the rest of this TV in to the scrapyard and get e-waste priced. There is stuff still in here that the scrapyards will bring or ship to their own sender, and they will get weight value for that. So again, 100% scrappable. Microwaves. I do have some of my fellow scrappers that say they no longer pick up microwaves or vacuum cleaners because they say that the transformers or the motors in vacuum cleaners are now being replaced with aluminum windings instead of copper in the transformers. And that may be true, but what I like about even these newer microwaves, the transformer, even as is, these both have aluminum windings. This is still worth scrap value. This can be at a scrapyard worth 7 cents a pound for aluminum transformer. However, I'm going to get more money actually just throwing this right into my tin, not even opening this up. And right now, tin is going for about 10 cents a pound in Sarnia, Ontario, and 14 cents a pound in London, Ontario. So this does weigh 10 pounds, so $1 here unopened. The rest of the frame is going to be tin. So the nice thing is I just load up my stuff in here. As well, regardless of the age of these transformers and microwaves, they do always have some copper inside. The magnetron here does have aluminum windings or fins in it. It does have a couple copper coils inside, as well as my inner core here that I have already opened. This inner core is copper, so I do open these up. And again, these, word of caution, you do want to check out my video how to safely open these because they can be dangerous. So again, I will also include the link to that video in my description. But some great scrap value here too. As well, 2 very powerful magnets that are great for when I scrap. It has also a nice circuit board. The circuit board always has in the door here some silver mallard, which is sellable. It has some relay boxes, as well as it does have a small transformer too that has copper. As well, it has several different motors. This motor comes off of the plate underneath. This is my fan that has a nice copper spool there, as well as my circuit board. On the bottom, there's always a nice copper donut there as well. So there are tons of great goodies inside of your microwaves, as well as the outer appliance cord. The cord here is also worth a lot. Some of my scrappers will actually just cut this off and drive away. This too is worth great value. It's very nice and thick, heavy, and this right now at a scrapyard is going to be classified as 40% appliance wire, currently $1.26 Canadian in London, Ontario. So a great value for this as well. But this is not the only thing you want to take. The rest of this box, as I said, is great for holding more tin. It is 100% scrappable. And again, one of the most common items that I find on scrapping. Moving over, another thing that I don't like to pass up on are lamps and fans. These, you do want to check to see if they work. A lot of times people are throwing them out. Maybe they're renovating, maybe they're redecorating. And I actually just sold 2 fans yesterday at a yard sale, a citywide yard sale. They work perfectly fine. I just had to clean them a little bit. So I made a lot more money selling them in good workable condition than scrap value. But fans, if they don't work, as well as lamps, they always have a really nice appliance wire to them. A lot of times your stand-up fans have the wire going all the way from the top all the way to the bottom. Some of my fellow scrappers I will see will just cut the bottom cord and they will leave the rest of the lamp. They don't realize that the cord goes all the way up. And these too, a lot of times are steel, sometimes they're aluminum, and sometimes they are brass. So you do want to check if they don't work, scratch them to see what type of metal you have. If they are brass, and I've had about 3 or 4 of them, lamps that are brass. Yellow brass right now is going for about $3 a pound. So going to make a lot more money from that than just the cord. The cord here, these cords are actually upgraded. These are going to be classified as 60% appliance wire because they only have 1 coating of plastic on it, so higher value, but a great cord as well. The rest of the body, these ones, if I check, they are going to be magnetic, so these are tin. So you do want to make sure that you do the scratch test, check to see that if it's just a coating on it, okay? But again, if it's magnetic, it is not going to be brass. Okay, but lamps, fans, same thing. I have a small fan here. This is an older one. It doesn't work. But I do have a lot of stand-up fans as well. If they don't work, that cord goes all the way up the neck. But again, if I was to say most common workable items that I find are lamps and fans. The ceiling fans, unfortunately, a rookie mistake I used to make. I did not realize how much copper was inside these fans. This is a really nice heavy ceiling fan here. This entire neck is going to be tin, so it is 100% scrappable. This is from a smaller ceiling fan, but look at how beautiful that copper motor is. Every one of these windings is copper, so this is all going to be number 2 copper. Easy to cut out of there. The rest of this is going to be tin. So again, great value here. Never pass up on my ceiling fans and fans. Okay, moving on, water heaters. I don't find these often. Okay, I do find, again, if I was to classify, CRT TVs, microwaves, fans, and lamps, probably the top, and vacuum cleaners, top items. But if I come across a water tank, I am never going to pass that up. And even given the size of this, when I had my car, I could easily put this into it. It's 100% scrappable. And the great thing about these water heaters is they have a really nice couple copper wires that go up the top. They always have or could have a couple screw-on pieces of copper left. You can see right here. This is going to be 2 different classifications of copper. Right here, I've got number 1 copper. Here, I've got a little bit of number 1 and number 2. This does have the soldering on it that you can see. So when it's soldering, it is number 2 copper. And this is easy to upgrade. If I was to bring this in just like this, as well as this one, this is going to be number 2 copper. But all I really have to do to upgrade is I'm going to cut from here, get this piece. This is going to be number 1. This will be a little bit of number 2. Same thing here. This does have a little bit of number 1. And I have unfortunately seen several scrappers bring in huge heaps of this copper. and it could have a huge piece of #1 pipe, but because they don't take the time to cut it, they are going to get downgraded. So you do want to make sure that you separate it to maximize your profit. The other thing about these, they will always have right on the side here a nozzle. These nozzles are actually what we classify as red brass. So red brass has a little bit more copper in it. It is higher value than yellow brass. So yellow brass right now is going for about $3 a pound. Red brass is going for about $3.40 a pound. So all of your nozzles that come out of your water tanks are going to be red brass. And it does look a little bit more reddish tinge than yellow brass if I was to compare it. So that is why it is called red brass, because it does have a little bit more copper, and copper is higher value. You do have to make sure you pull out your pin. Sometimes these are copper. You do want to scratch it. There is going to be a little bit of spring you can see in there. Okay, so easy way to do, I just have to cut it open, split it open. If I was to leave that spring in there, I'm going to get dirty brass price. So you want to make sure you separate it to maximize your profit, but great item here. And the rest of this tank here, 100% scrappable. I'm just going to throw it right into my tin. And this is probably going to weigh about 100 pounds of this. So I'm probably going to get just $10 just from this water tank. So I will never pass these up if I see them. Great item for sure. Dehumidifiers and air conditioners. I do find a lot of these as well, especially at new construction sites or new subdivisions, usually after a year and a half of those being built. A lot of people will put those dehumidifiers in their basement. They will let them run, soak up any of that moisture, and then they have no idea what to do with it. They'll throw it out. So you do want to see if they work, check if they work, but great items for sure. These are loaded with scrappable material. They always have 2 of these copper aluminum radiators. This one is an example. I have actually cut the coils off, but some really nice #2 copper that you want to get off of here. This is going to give me copper aluminum radiator price, and currently right now it's about $1.80 a pound. So there's usually 2 of these inside. There is going to be a really nice big compressor in here. These compressors, the only problem that people have is it is actually illegal to cut that coil to release the gas or the liquid inside. So you do need to have someone that opens it for you. I do have a friend. I will store them up and I will have him come over, flush them all at once. So it's easier that way. But air conditioners and dehumidifiers, an excellent item. Air conditioners are a little bit easier to resell in workable condition because all you have to do is plug them in, see if they work. Sometimes you might have to clean the filters. Sometimes I've seen some that work, but they emit a foul smell, a dirty smell, smoker smell, or animal smell, whatever. But you can resell them if they are in good workable condition. Okay, but dehumidifiers and air conditioners, I will never pass them up because they are loaded with great scrappable material. Even though they do have a heavy plastic on the outside of them. The older models are 100% scrappable. You'll see the ones that have, looks like the wood panel that is metal or tin. But these ones have been replaced with plastic. But again, great item for sure. I will never pass up on them. As well as a really nice appliance wire that comes with it. Again, 40% appliance wire. Vacuum cleaners. Okay, if I was to rank, as I said, my top 3 items that I find, CRT TVs and computer monitors, microwaves, and vacuum cleaners. Vacuum cleaners come in all different styles and sizes. Your shop vac vacuums, your stand-ups like this, your hand-powered one. Some are battery-powered. All of them are worth good scrap value. This is one of the items that a lot of my fellow scrappers will just drive by and take the cord, which again, the cord is a great item that you can see here, but it is not the only item in here. There is a lot of plastic, but they all have a nice motor inside. Okay, one of the reasons why my fellow scrappers say they don't take it anymore is again because the motor could have aluminum winding on the motor instead of copper. And again, you cannot tell just by the make and model. I have actually found several that are very similar in style. Opened it up, one was aluminum, one was copper. So it is a 50-50 chance, but I'm willing to take that chance. And regardless if it is aluminum, you're still getting value. If this was aluminum windings, I would just throw this right into my tin once I opened it, because all of them do have some clean aluminum here. So that comes out of inside. You can see it in the motor there. Okay, so this is going for about 50 cents a pound. It's not much, but given the amount of vacuum cleaners I find, it does add up. But the rest of this, again, tin shred price. But just to show you, this does look like red wire there. Scratched it. That is copper. So number 2 copper there. Here's another 2 of them, just to show some examples. Look at that. Scratched it. Copper and copper. So great copper in here. I'm willing to take the chance. Some really nice appliance wire. Again, this is your 40% appliance wire. You see that, the 3 individual strands inside of it, as well as an outer coating. So great item here. And sometimes your hoses can be tin as well. Put a magnet to this. You can see it does draw to it. So this hose here is also, I'm just going to throw it right into my tin, because there is a metallic wire that goes all the way down this, as well as the bar here. This bar is magnetic, so again, some more tin on this. Some of your bars will be aluminum, some stainless steel. So again, there is some great scrap value on vacuum cleaners, and an item that I never pass up on. The last item you see here, power washers. Power washers, too, are an excellent item. I do find a lot more of them, especially in the spring. People put them away in the winter. There's a little bit of water in the hose still or in the motor. It freezes, expands, and damages the power washer. These have an excellent outer cord here. They are very heavy, and that is because inside of them, they have a huge copper motor inside of them that is surrounded usually by a cast aluminum shell. So an excellent item for sure. They do come in different sizes. You can see this one here, even though it is small, this probably weighs about 15 to 20 pounds as is. Sometimes there is brass nozzle or edges to this that you want to get as well. The gun that you have, this does also have a lot of plastic, but once you remove the screws, there is a little bit of brass in here. I can see some brass right on the connector here. Okay, so power washers, again, an item that I will never pass up on. It's hard to resell those because a lot of times they are leaking, but the great thing about these is I can interchange parts. I did find several of these. One of them was missing the trigger. It did work fine, but the trigger was broken. The other one that I found, there was a leak in the body, but the trigger worked fine, so I just took that off and put it on, so I had a brand new power washer. So, great item for sure. Again, power washers, I never pass up on. Vacuum cleaners, never pass up on. Dehumidifiers and air conditioners, never pass up on. CRT, TVs, and computer monitors, as well as microwaves, never pass up on. Fans, lamps, ceiling fans, never pass up on. And if I do find the odd water tank, I will never pass up on it. One last thing I do want to include, someone asked about appliances like ovens, dryers, washers. Those, given the size, a lot of people do pass up on those, as well as your barbecues if you have a small vehicle. But barbecues, the gas regulator, for sure, the propane hookup, definitely want to take that because it does have a nice hunk of brass in it. As well, ovens and dryers, I do, if I can't fit the item into my vehicle, will get the power cord. Look at this power cord, came off of an oven. Beautiful brass prongs here. Some really nice number 2 copper. This copper wire is going to be stripped to get number 2 copper price. So I definitely don't pass up on the power cord from your dryers and your ovens for sure. But unfortunately, given the size of the rest of it, if I had room, I would take it. But that for sure is a definite. So hope you enjoyed that. Again, hopefully it answered some questions. It is a lot to take in, and I do, as I said, will include full breakdowns of my videos for each of them. But again, I'm sure there are more items that I forgot. If you have anything I missed or something that you oftenly find in your area, because it does change depending on where you are, please include it in the link. But again, hopefully this helps fellow scrappers not to think twice next time you see items, because as I said, vacuum cleaners and microwaves are still excellent items, and I do see a lot of people pass those up and just take the cord. So again, hopefully that was interesting and informative. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.